Welcome in, fellas.
Welcome in, friends. We do appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with us on this, on the eve of a massive week of Texas high school football. It is the biggest week of the Texas high school football calendar thus far. A ludicrous slate of Texas high school football games awaits us, starting tonight on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. Mm-hmm. But we will have huge games across the state of Texas. I went through, and at the beginning of the year, it seemed like a good idea to rank the top 10 Texas high school football games of the week.
That came back to bite you in the butt, didn't it?
This week has been not fun because now I have to rank this slate of games. And I mentioned this on Tepper and Step, and I mentioned a couple other places. This is like a regional final round.
Yeah, it's insane.
And so it does feel like the next time that I have this much trouble doing it, it is going to be
December.
But here it is. Let's start. My top 10 Texas high school football games of the week, starting with number 10, El Campo and Bay City. One of the all-time great Texas high school football rivalries. This is this is the longest continuous rivalry in Texas high school football history. They are meeting for the 104th consecutive year. That is wild.
That is wild.
And I would love to know the last time that these two teams were both ranked, but they both are. This is a huge 4A Division I matchup. It's the 121st meeting between the Rice Birds and the Black Cats. For me, the money matchup is when Bay City has the ball with quarterback Alex Estrada kind of dealing against an El Campo defense has been fantastic. This has been dominated recently by El Campo, but Bay City feels like this is their best team in years. They've got Jada Andrews. They've got playmakers all over the field. I am interested to see how this game plays out down there in a raucous atmosphere in Bay City at Black Cat Memorial Stadium. I'm very excited about that. Number 10 is El Campo and Bay City. That's number 10, guys.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's the 10th best game of the week. Number 9 is Waco, La Vega, and Robinson. I think this game is flying under the radar for a couple of reasons. One, it's just a ludicrous week of games. Okay? Just an absolutely ludicrous week of games. But also, I think that when you take a look at the records, you think, okay, well, how good could this game be? Specifically, you take a look at La Vega. La Vega has 3 losses on the year, and you're thinking, Tepper, you're losing your touch. And maybe you're right. Maybe I am losing my touch. But I'll tell you who doesn't believe that La Vega is a 4-3 team: the Computer. Mm-hmm. Computer has La Vega 3rd in 4A Division II. 3rd. That's despite losses to Salina, 7-0.
Which, that aged well.
West Orange Stark, 6-1.
Aged well.
And then they lost to Stephenville, who's 6-1. Mm-hmm. Since then, they have big wins over Gatesville and China Spring. Now they get a big test against Robinson. Robinson has been in the state rankings for a couple of weeks now. I really love what Robinson does on the offensive side. I think they've got playmakers really all over the field, but there's really no doubt about the fact that the straw that stirs the drink here is their running back, Evan Moreno, who's been terrific. Over 1,100 yards in the year, 17 touchdowns. Can La Vega's front 7 contain the running game of Robinson? That's a big question in this one. I'm fascinated by this one. La Vega and Robinson, big game in Central Texas. Number 8, Gilmer and Pleasant Grove. This is the 8th best game of the week.
That's insane.
Okay.
Almost any other week,
this is like
it would be 4. Yeah,
exactly
3 or 4.
Right. Gilmer and Pleasant Grove is a huge game in East Texas. Gilmer's been chugging along, looking great. Nothing really to complain about with Gilmer, especially considering what they've been able to do. I think they've opened things up offensively. They've gotten things going, and it does feel like, and I want people in Upshur County to hear me say this, I think their defense is playing pretty well right now. I think their defense has been pretty good. Taking on a Pleasant Grove team that has 2 losses on the year, albeit a 7-0 loss to Paris, and then a 37-31 double overtime loss to Kilgore. But since then, they have been absolutely rolling, and I will tell you this, folks. This is a Pleasant Grove team that is very young, a lot of underclassmen. If they beat Gilmer, y'all better buckle up, because the next couple of years are going to be tough for East Texas and 4A Division II. Pleasant Grove is full of pups. If they can beat the defending state champs at home, they would really send a message. I think Gilmer's your favorite. I think they have to be. Caden Tennyson, their quarterback, has been terrific. But I'm very interested in this game in Texarkana tomorrow night. Number 7, Goliad and Edna. This is another top 10 matchup, and it's number 7.
No.
Don't ruin it.
Go
number
back.
7. Nobody saw that. Number 7 is Goliad and Edna. I think that this game is a perfect example of flying under the radar. But if there were other if this was other weeks, we might be kind of falling all over ourselves to sell you on this game. But Goliad and Edna is must-see TV stuff. This is a Goliad team that I think has been flying under the radar a little bit, specifically because I don't know if they've necessarily played anybody. At least they have the one loss in the year to East Bernard that's aged well, but. Since then, kind of been bobbing along. Offense has been very, very good. This is going to be a significant upgrade, I think, in their schedule. Specifically, I want to see how that defense matches up with an Edna team that has been just mauling people of late. Edna has been terrific offensively. I want to see what this the money matchup for me is going to be the Goliad front up against Edna's running game. If that can come to life, then this thing could really shake up 3A Division I. But it's a fascinating game down there in South Texas, Goliad and Edna. Number 6.
Wow.
Prosper.
First time we've seen that.
Prosper and Allen.
Big dogs.
Big dogs. This is the big boys. And this is big boy stuff. It feels as if this is the first time we're talking about either of these teams. Prosper took a week 1 loss to Westlake. Since then, they have been rolling, and there's no doubt about what they are about. They are a team that wants to rely on their strength up front because their offensive line is perhaps the best at least the most highly touted in the state of Texas. They can run the ball, and they've run the ball particularly well with their outstanding a number of outstanding running backs. Jacob Martinez went off last week, but I think Braden Imhoff, their quarterback, has been terrific as well. For Allen. This is like Judgment Day for Allen, like a team that is 7-0. They are looking very strong. I think Brady Bricker, their quarterback, has taken the step. Their defense has been terrific, and also I don't think they've played anybody. They scheduled Midland Legacy and Cedar Hill in non-district, and those two teams just haven't panned out to be the kind of teams we thought they were going to be.
No, Cedar Hill can be super high. They can be super not. That game they were not.
Exactly right. And then Midland Legacy's 2-5 this week. Going to this week. For Allen, here's where I'm at on Allen. I think they are lowercase b back. Mm-hmm. If they win this game,
they're back.
Capitalize that bad boy. Capital B back.
Because their offense going up, well, honestly, their defense going up an offensive line that big is going to be telling.
Yeah. This is for me a huge game to see where these two teams that I still feel like we don't know a ton about, where they stack up. Huge game, Prosper and Allen. That's number 6. Number 5, this is the 5th best game of the week. Lake Travis and Westlake. What?
The Battle of the Lakes.
The Battle of the Lakes, the 20th meeting between these two arch rivals down there in the Austin area. We talked about this in the picks. Quarterback matchup's terrific. Trench play is going to be super important. I was texting briefly yesterday with our friend Jay Plotkin, who covers it for the Lake Travis View. A lot of this is about who can emerge on Lake Travis's offense besides Van Hopping, and I want to see what the Lake Travis offensive line can do. Can they hold up against what has been a ferocious pass rush? I did it. Pass rush.
A lot of
I said pass rush. Pass rush from Westlake. That's a huge game in this one. Can they keep Chest and Dida upright? Lake Travis. I mean, it's Lake Travis and Westlake. Yeah. If I have to sell you on Lake Travis and Westlake, check your pulse. Mm-hmm. Okay. Number 4. Speaking of check your pulse. Nederland, Port NechesGrove.
Yeah, just a light number 4 mid-county madness.
Teeny tiny little baby matchup down there in Southeast Texas. Just a little itty bitty get together of friends.
Live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
We talk about it in the picks. I don't want to ruin it, but I will just say this: it is hard to remember a time when mid-county madness meant this much. Mm-hmm. This is for a district championship. This is going to be a ludicrous atmosphere at Indian Stadium. This is going to be for all the marbles. I think Nederland actually matches up fairly well with Port NechesGrove.
Yeah.
But P&G's the defending champs. P&G's got that dog in them, and they have that big game experience.
They also have Jeff Joseph's 12-0 record in one-score games. If you want to talk about,
yeah, if you're Nederland, you better blow them out.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
You need to win by at least 2 scores.
Exactly right. A absolutely sensational game. Again, if I have to sell you on Nederland P&G,
get good.
Yeah, get good. We're in the top 3 now. Number 3. Panhandle and Sunray. I love this game. I love the quarterback matchup in this game. Armando Luan going up against a guy that I think is way underrated in Broxton Robinson. This is a Panhandle offense that's averaging more than 50 points per game. But I also think that belies a conversation about both of these teams in Panhandle and Sunray that is, these are complete teams. They're complete. They play good defense too. Who can come out with the big plays in the big moments in our first real opportunity to sort Region 1 of 2A Division 1? There's 4 teams, I think, in there with Stanford, Panhandle, Sunray, and Hawley. Here's 2 of them going head-to-head in a must-see matchup in Sunray, America. Big game up there in the Panhandle. That's the 3rd best game in the state. The 2nd best game in the state is Columbus and Hitchcock.
That's insane. That's insane.
Oh, boy. What do you say about this game? Hitchcock has been hitting on all cylinders. Lloyd Jones III, Kelshawn Johnson, and more importantly, their defense has started standing on its head, and they've been terrific up front, and they have, I think they are a much more physical team than they were a year ago when Columbus kind of ran them over. Mm-hmm. Well, here comes Columbus, who is a flamethrower on offense. Okay, they are the number 1 scoring offense in Texas high school football. Any classification, 11-man, I should say.
Adam Schobel is incredible.
Adam Schobel is looking like a Sunday player right now.
Yes, at a 3A level.
He has been unreal. You add in Braylon Fisher, you add in Grayson Rigdon, you add in the playmakers they've got. Can Hitchcock find a way to slow down Columbus? And on the other side, this is a real test for the Columbus defense.
Mm-hmm. Who has been fine, but they haven't had to be great.
Exactly. They have not had a point this year where their defense has had to make a stop. They will probably have to make a stop in this game. What happens then? It's the best game of the week. Certainly. It's the best.
Can I tell you?
Yeah.
It's live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
It's the best game of the week, Columbus and Hitchcock. I'm sorry, did that say number 2? Oh, yeah. A small get-together of friends in Humble.
Live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
It's North Shore and Atascocita, the number 1 game in the state this week. Yeah, it's the biggest game in Houston. For all the stuff, if you remember back a couple weeks ago, when Duncanville and DeSoto teed up, this is the Houston version of that. We should be giving it as much, if not more, shine that we did with Duncanville and DeSoto. The quarterback matchup here, Caleb Bailey versus Carday Mack. The run. What I am interested in here is, and we'll talk more about it in the picks. What I am interested in here is, can Atascocita finally get the monkey off their back? They're 0-8 against North Shore. And what does last week's scare against Kingwood mean? What is that? Because here's the thing. In 2 of the last 3 weeks, at least in the second half against Summer Creek, and then in the last week against Kingwood, they got torched defensively. Mm-hmm. So in 6 quarters, their defense has not played well. They will need to play well. And also, by the way, Atascocita is going to have to go up, and Torrey Blaylock and company are going to have to go up against one of the best defenses in Texas, led by Charles Ross, Devin Sanchez, all the playmakers they've got. It is a ludicrous week. By the way, let's go through. Those are the top 10 Texan Bowl games of the week. How many of those games are on Texan Live? Executive producer Ashley Pitts.
North Shore Atascocita, Columbus Hitchcock, Nederland PNG, Austin Westlake, and Lake Travis, and that will round out that list.
So 4 of the top 5 games in the state, plus many more that could not even make this list. Like, we have Shadow Creek Pearland?
Yeah, we've got Shadow Creek Pearland, Barbers Hill, Galveston Ball. Let's see. West Orange Stark and Silsby.
Aledo Richland. I mean, guys.
Pine Tree Chapel Hill.
It is a silly week of Texas high school football. I could do a top 40 games of the week.
Yes.
But we only had room for 10 on the graphic. It's top 10 Texas Bowl games of the week. Let me know in the comments which ones I got wrong or right. Give me some compliments.